A couple things. After the first selection, you go through that, call in the pick, talk with the player, talking about Cameron Jordan, and then you begin to really there were a clump of players, and in that group, Cameron Jordan was a guy certainly we didn't know if he'd get this far to us. In fact, we really didn't think he'd get down that far. Mark was someone that we thought a lot of as well. So after the selection, Mickey and I just began to talk about that scenario, and you got to find someone that's willing to do that. And I think there were a few picks taking place. There was some confusion as to what was happening with Baltimore and their selection, along with I think the Chiefs, and ultimately New England had interest, and so you get a little bit refocused again. It gets kind of quiet in there, and when it was sorted out who Baltimore was taking, New England was up, and we were able to get a deal done. So obviously we're excited. We're excited about both these players. There's always that little bit of uncertainty as you head into each draft, and certainly that was the case this year. And I would say this, Mickey and I sat there and we talked about it, and we both felt real good about, and this is in regards to Mark, we both felt real good about this player and like this player a lot in regards to not only what he brings on the field, but off the field as well. Yeah, every year it kind of is a little different. There's probably more uncertainty the further back you select, of course, and so it just varies year to year. And I think that you're just trying to always keep your options open and pay attention. There have been times when we've traded up in the first round or a round to get a player. In this case, we did the same technically with our second round pick. So, well, I think it's finding players that fit our profile, and we think these are players that obviously can help our team win games. And I think we always feel that sense of responsibility to our current team, when we make these selections and bring players like this into our locker room. Yeah, there's a lot of good traits he has, and certainly we feel like we've got a lot of good running backs on our team. And of course, last year we got nicked up with some injuries, but we'll clearly have a role. And anything and everything these players do, they always earn in regards to not only their snaps but their touches, and we'll figure out a plan and move forward with it. Well, you really it's really simple. You just weigh that pick next year. I think earlier today we saw a team in our division, Atlanta, make a very aggressive move for a receiver, and so you look at the talent, you look at the player, you also take a good look at what you think was going to be available in the second round this year, where we were selecting, and that all factors in. Well, this selection is really a selection that has no bearing, if you will, on. I mean, Reggie, there's a certain skill set he has, and there's things that he does that we value a lot, and so this is a runner who I would say is a much different style, and so I wouldn't even begin to look at how it'll affect Reggie's status with us at all. And I've said before, and heading into this off season, the importance we feel like of the talents Reggie has, and has been really, he's been a big part of what we've done. successfully here offensively in his first 5 years. I mean, honestly, I think, we wanted to find a player that we felt could help the front seven, and then, you begin to look at your stack, and I would say that, Cameron was the one defensive player left in that first tier, and then there's a few defensive players that were in that second tier, but Mark Ingram was right there, and you prepare yourself for all scenarios, and there's a scenario that possibly exists where you take Mark Ingram at 24, and so you go through those hypotheticals. Yeah, I mean, I think that was, yeah, absolutely. Those were the slots, and so, when you get 2 picks away, then you know that you're in position, and it's not going to be both those guys right in front of you. So, it worked out. I think Cameron being there, and we go through these scenarios, and that scenario wasn't. It was one that we were a little surprised with. I mean, really, it's we're excited, and that's why we're drafting players. So, we feel like these are 2 good additions. We've got a lot of work to do still. I would start with this though first, Ed. I would say the one trait that's impressive is his ability to block pressure and pick up. He's someone who's real physical in his protections, and he is someone that is used to some degree in the underneath passing game, but he's a physical back. He can catch the ball, but he's good in his protections, and there'll be a learning curve, and he'll have a lot to learn. But I do know this: we saw him in an offense that, and I think earlier we spoke today. We saw him in an offense that is fairly prototypical, if you will, and I think Nick's done a real good job there, obviously with that program, and I think I know he felt real good about this player as well. Yeah, we'll see all that. I mean, in other words, we like the skill set but there's a lot that goes into not only first down, second down for a young player, but then third down as well, and so we'll just see how it goes. We'll see where he's at. Yeah, both these players happen to be guys that took a visit here, and sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. Both players were guys we spent time with at the Combine. Both players were here. They're guys that we felt were bright. One's a senior, one's a junior. Both of them come from winning programs, and Coach Tedford's done a great job out at Cal, so they've been coached hard, and we felt like these were guys that saw themselves as being successful in this league, and again, a lot of times we'll bring players in and not have the opportunity most of the time to draft them. In this case, both these players were here. Yeah, I think that's a little bit more secondary, if you will. And the one thing about it is I think the players understand the challenge and the work that's necessary to be successful that both their fathers had.